Hello coders. In this video, we will going to write a polyfill for Promise.all because I saw in most of the front-end JavaScript interview, they ask us to write different kind of polyfills. So today we are going to cover Promise.all polyfill. So first thing first, I'm going to create some dummy promises here really fast. So these are all the dummy promises for testing purposes. So I will just simply going to do it, and inside that I'm going to use a set timeout method, yeah, to fake some kind of delay. So I'm faking some kind of delay here really fast. That is a delay of 1 second, and I'm going to resolve this with a message of success 1. Okay, this thing going to work, and I'm going to make couple of these. So this also the message of success 2 with the prompt 2, another one promise 3, and actually I wanted to reject it with error. So this will take 3, this will take 2 seconds. I'm just putting some fake delays, and now I'm going to write our polyfill, and I'm going to call it promise.myall. Yeah, and I'm going to make it a function here really fast. Okay, well, sorry, sometimes I just get lost. And this function actually looks for a promises array. So this is actually looks for a promises, and this is actually an array of promises actually array of promises. Like inside this argument you will going to have a lot of promise. So like this I can call it like I can call our function like promise.myall, and with the array of from 1, from 2. I'm doing something wrong. From 1, from 2, from 3. Looks good. And I can use .10 and .catch over this, and I can catch it with anything bad happens. I can catch it here with the console.log of error. I'm catching error here, and inside then I'm catching our responses. So yeah, I'm actually console.log response and the error here, and now comes the main function our. So all the party going to happen inside this block of code. So what now? First I'm going to initialize an result array which is going to hold all the resolved promise responses, and then I need another variable called total, which I'm going to initialize with 0, and like this promises argument holds the array of a promise, and I'm going to check later that is the total is equal to the length of promises array, and if like this both is equal, then I can go and resolve our promise. So yeah, that's the whole thing I'm going to do. But actually, I'm not going to do like this. I'm going to write I'm going to return a promise from here. Yeah, because promise.all return a promise. So I have to do all this thing inside. I can use arrow function to reject, and I'm going to return this from 31st. Yeah. Okay. So now here I will like initialize our both results array and total. So yeah, again I'm going to check the length of promises array length with this total variable, and if it both are equal, I can go and resolve this function, this whole promise function. So yeah, inside this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply iterate over all the promises. Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm going to use for each. You can use for loop also, but I'm going to use for each, and for each actually have an item and an index. Okay, so now I'm going to resolve. So this resolve is actually a method of a promise object. So I'm going to use this method, and I'm going to resolve this item, and you have to and you can see this that this item is actually a promise. So I can use dot then and dot catch over it, and I am again going to catch for error. So if anything happens, if any promise gets rejected, I'm simply going to reject it with the error. So if you don't know how promise.all actually works, it works like it only going to resolve if all the promises inside this promises array get resolved. If any promise get rejected, it will reject with that promise error. So yeah, if you want to know more about it, I make a 1 minute video over this, so you can watch that video also. And this is like a more detailed version of my all polyfill, like promise.all polyfill. And inside this, then I'm actually going to receive the response, like whatever response I'm getting after 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 these promises get resolved. And here what I'm going to do inside, I'm going to push that response inside that result. You can like you don't need to like index everything, like you can like directly push the response, and like it doesn't matter which promise is going to resolve first. But yeah, uh, I'm going to do like this. I'm going to like make a copy of indexes also. So like this is the first promise, so this is going to be, like you will going to find that in index 1, because we are passing it here as the first element. Okay, so that is done, and now if it's resolved, I need to increment the total also. So this total, and if now if our total is equal to promises dot length, I can say okay, we're done with this, and we can simply this resolve this promise, which we actually returning here with the result array. So in the end, if everything works fine, here we are going to see the array of with all the responses. And if anything bad happens, if any error occurs, like here our prompt 3 is actually rejecting with an error. So this catch block going to execute and we will see an error. So if our polyfill is like working, if whatever we code is working, so I'm going to see an error here. So let me run this and yeah, yeah. So yeah, it actually works. We are having we are seeing an error because prompt 3 is actually reject the promise with an error. And if I'm going to remove this prompt 3 and run it again, like let me clear the console first. So now it will like fulfill and yeah. And now we have success 1 and success 2, both the promises, and it get resolved. I think I'm getting this uncaught in promise because we're actually not no we're actually not um, resolving our catching that promise because it's a promise and it actually get rejected, but we are not like using it anywhere. That's why we are getting like uncaught in promise. So please ignore this thing. Yeah. So this is if someone asks you to write the polyfill of promise.all, only this piece of code will do the work. And yeah, that's all from my side. And this is the polyfill for promise.all method. Thank you. Happy coding.